T-Dog, J-Boy, and me, I'm Lugs. Our pride and joy is pumping our mugs. Be careful, kids, it could get rough. We're flipping our lids on sports and other stuff.
In a world where pants are optional, the Sport Weasels bring you this legendary moment in sport. Hello, everybody. I'm Lugs. Welcome.
I'm wearing pants, and I'm J-Boy.
I'm wearing shorts. I'm T-Dog.
Wow, that was quite an intro, Lugs. We're grateful to you. But I start with this joke, gentlemen.
Okay.
What do you get if you give a robin a paintbrush? That'd be a bird. What do you get if you give a robin a paintbrush?
Ooh, I give up on that one.
I don't know.
A picture that's worth 1,000 worms.
Ugh.
Hey, welcome to Sports and Other Stuff. Hey, we're here all week. Tonight we focus on the AFC North, a division where everybody finished above 500 last year, and so many have high expectations across the board this year. To recap, here's how they finished a year ago. The Ravens were 13-4, Brownies were 11-6, Steelers 10-7, and the Bengals were 9-8. So everybody above 500. Lugs, how are you? Let's start there. How do you like? Well, how are you? First of all, how do you like this division? The last place team.
Well, top to bottom, I mean, you've got question marks at quarterback all over the place, top to bottom. But in fourth place, I'm putting the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have never quite gotten over how Russell Wilson did me wrong when he was in Denver. So I can't.
You done me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, in that quarterback room, you got Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. That'll be an interesting thing for me. They did bring in, well, they finally got rid of T-Dog's favorite, Mike Canada, and they brought in Arthur Smith as an offensive coordinator. It's one of those things where you're just looking at the pieces and they don't quite fit for me. So I've got the Steelers in fourth place, going 8-9, a first, an under 500 season.
Wow, breaking Tomlin's streak. That's amazing. Wow. Mike Canada, we like to call him. All right, T-Dog, you're the AFC North last place finish.
Yeah, the Steelers were like, oh, Canada, a lot last year. Kind of echoing one or two things about what Lug said. Look, this is the best division. It is. It just is. I don't know. The record showed it last year, and this year it is too. And kind of like what Lug says, there are question marks. There's different types of question marks for other teams. The unfortunate thing for the Steelers is the question mark is, will we have a decent season? There is a chance that Deshaun Watson does recapture the magic he had back in, I think, 2020 was his last good year. There is a possibility. Is it legitimate? We don't know. Can Burrow stay healthy? Of the 4 years I believe he's played, he's been healthy for two of them fully, so we know it. But will he be able to endure? Will Lamar keep up his consistent play with them losing some key players at certain spots? We don't know. But like those two of those top ones, obviously Lamar and Burrow are going to be good. The best, I feel, at least this year, I'm not maybe saying going forward for Fields at least because he had so many years ahead of him, where at least with Russell Wilson, we're just looking for competency, right? The other ones, we can look to the stars. The other ones, we're just looking to get into like a apartment on the third floor. So I also have this is a long way of saying I also have the Steelers fourth. Their O-line, they've invested in their O-line this year. I think Lugs loved their draft, and I agreed with them. Just, the adding of Troy Fontenot, who I believe will start at left tackle as a rookie, and the center Zach Frazier. You add that to Broderick Jones, who was their first round pick last year at right tackle, and then Somalia and Daniels. Their guards are good. They're going to be road grading a lot of defenders because new offensive coordinator Arthur Smith, who is a much better candidate than our OC than Canada was. He's just going to run the ball, and be it Jalen Warren or Najee Harris or Cordell Patterson, they are going to probably ideal situations. They're running the ball at least 40 times a game. Period. They are, and they can do that because their defense with T.J. Watt, terrorizing off the edge, and Minka Patrick ball hawking. They're going to be a tough out. Just their quarterback situation in comparison to those other three, and I know Watson is a big question mark bugaboo, but that being said, I also have them going 8-9, and I know people will be up in arms about it, but I honestly feel that if Burrow didn't get injured last year, they were going sub 500 last year. The Steelers were. So it was the Bengals kind of hitting the banana peel because of Burrow's injury that they got elevated. So
you got the Steelers at 8-9.
Yes.
Luggs has the Steelers at 8-9. Huh. Well, let's talk about that. Yes, everything is possible, but as Casey Kasem always said, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. Well, they have 2 stars in Pittsburgh, Russell and Justin, and it's a mess. No more OC, Matt Canada. You guys mentioned that. Bye-bye, Kenny Pickett. Where did he wind up anyway, Pickett? Anybody? Kenny
Pickett, he's Eagles backup.
Backup. Okay.
So good for him. He's got a shot at the Super Bowl.
Isn't it funny how it works out? But Arthur Smith may be a better offensive coordinator than head coach. Time will tell on that. But here's the thing you guys didn't mention. They have a brutal end-of-season schedule. They close with the Eagles, the Ravens, the Chiefs, and the Bengals. Okay, there's 4 losses right there. So you add 4 to year 5, and you get 8-9. I have them also in last place, not breaking 500. Man, this is unanimous, unusual. 8-9 for the Steel Curtain, and Mike Tomlin's first losing season, right? Right. Wow.
Yeah.
That will be something. That'll be a good conversation in February. Will heads roll in Pittsburgh? Who knows? All right, so that's it. Steelers across the board. Luggs, 3rd place in the AFC North. What are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking that Deshaun Watson is never coming back to the form that he had when he was in Houston. I just don't see how you can do it. So in 3rd place, I've got the Browns. Nick Chubb tore up his leg, so the running game is a little iffy for me. Defensively, they should be okay defensively. But again, like you were talking about, their last 4 games are Chiefs, Bengals, Dolphins, which they should be able to slam, and the Ravens. So I'm only having them 1 game better than the Steelers. I'm going 9-8. 9-8.
9-8 for the Browns from the L-Man. T-Dog, who do you like?
Again, all these teams kind of fall on their pedestals based on, I guess it's usually is how it happens, not always, but because of quarterback play. Deshaun Watson, he's been a bad investment. I think it's easy to say for Cleveland. I still think they got rid of Alex Van Pelt. They fired him. He's now with New England now. But they then hired Kent Dorsey, who came from the Buffalo Bills. The main reason I think that's vital is because when he was the OC, in the Buffalo, they usually had at least 3 wide receivers, sometimes 4 wide receivers. Sometimes they spread it out with 5. And if you go back to when Deshaun Watson did have success in the NFL, they usually had at least 11 personnel or more. So I think they're playing into more of the strengths, and obviously with Nick Chubb's injury, it's going to take a while for him to recuperate. They have to live in 11 personnel or, four receiver sets to try to make this work. Jerome Ford showed he was a capable hand in the place of Nick Chubb, but he's not a Nick Chubb, and he's not a power back either. He's more of a shifty back who can, maybe hopefully doesn't get contact in the backfield, and he can crack it open for like 15 or 20. But they added Jerry Jeudy, who never has lived up to his hype, and sadly, I don't think he'll ever be what people envision to be. But I think he can be a solid hand. You factor in Amari Cooper, who's actually been underrated for his career, I think, with David Njoku, who with Joe Flacco last year finally broke out. And again, with a lot of tight ends, this is no shot at Travis Kelce to me. I think there's a lot of tight ends that can be around Travis Kelce. They just don't get the opportunities. Njoku had it last year, and he looked like an absolute monster. So I think, unlike Luggs, I think some of the luster comes back on Deshaun Watson, but I will agree with him. I think that 2020 version and earlier with the Texans, I don't think that guy exists anymore. So the unfortunate thing for Cleveland is it's going to be really, really hard for them to cut him that into the contract. But he's going to play well enough that it's going to be not an easy answer just to get rid of him. Their defense, on the other hand, I don't agree with Luggs. They're going to be one of the best ones like they were last year because Myles Garrett was the reigning defensive player of the year, and they have possibly the best secondary. That being said, Luggs and I must have wrote the same notes. I also have them 9-8 and missing the playoffs.
Missing the playoffs. Wow. 9-8. Okay. Didn't Cary Grant say, Judy?
No, that was Goober. Judy.
I knew it was close. Cary Grant, Goober. Cary Grant.
Cary Grant copied Goober. I knew it. It's just, you had that British accent.
Judy. Okay. The Browns. Yes, we're unanimous on this as well. Just not good enough. Isn't it funny? Maybe it's not funny. But in Texas, in Houston, the Texans, Deshaun Watson is just a footnote, if you think about it now with the Texans. Everybody's saying, who was that guy? Oh, we've got Stroud. We don't need him anymore. He's not good enough. Yes, Luggs, you mentioned they have a brutal Final Four schedule. Chiefs, Bengals, Dolphins, who will be good, I think we said last week, and Ravens. And I just don't think there's a lot there. I think they've had some good runs. I don't think there's any way they get to 11 wins again this year. I'm a little more generous than you fellas. I've got them in third place, but I'm going 10 wins, 7 losses, only because this division can go a lot of different ways, and if a ball bounces their direction and they make a couple of good plays, and if Joe Burrow gets injured, and if somebody, blah, 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 I got them 10-7, third place, and but we all agree, third place. All right, second place, Luggs, AFC North for 2023-24 school year.
Yeah, well, my man Joe Burrow's had his appendix out, ACL tears, calf injuries, wrist injuries. I just don't have faith that he'll complete the season. I've got the Bengals at number 2. They got rid of Joe Mixon, brought in Zach Moss. That's probably an upgrade. T. Higgins may be performing for them, maybe not. I don't know. Brian Callahan going to the Titans hurts him, I think. So it all depends on Burrow. It really does. I mean, I guess it always does on the quarterback. But I'm only giving them a 10-7 for Cincy.
10-7 Bengals. Wow.
They should make the playoffs, but 10-7 is what I'm calling.
Well, I'm glad to know we're not looking off the same cheat sheet because I have Baltimore in second, and if Lamar stays healthy, which he's also had some injury problems in the last few years. Obviously, he stayed healthy last year, but the 2 years prior to that, he missed multiple games at the back end of the seasons. The Baltimore Ravens are a playoff team, And in their new offense under Todd Monken, he showed significant growth as a passer. Not that again he never had the talent to be that, but he had his best yards per attempt. He had 8 yards per pass attempt, and he completed over 67%. And his most consistent weapon was a rookie wide receiver for the whole. So, and the scary thing is, guys, is usually it's the second year in an offensive system where they really hit the escalator or the elevator and they take it to another level. So for him to win the MVP in the first year of a new offense, it shows you again, like anyone who doesn't believe Lamar is a top 5 quarterback or above, he is. And going back to that rookie wide receiver, Zay Flowers, I think he'll have a big jump, which they'll need because Rashad Bateman is their other wide receiver who has the talent coming out of the University of Minnesota, but just hasn't ever really put it together. And they clearly have always talked about him, that they believe in him, so hopefully he can have that breakthrough year for them. And, they have a unique situation where they have two high-level tight ends of Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, who broke out when Mark Andrews was out last year. So they have that unique headache that they can give teams where in 12 personnel. And, I mean, Luggs will probably bring it up here, coming up when he gets to number one. The addition of Derrick Henry in the backfield with Lamar is going to be a headache for defenses because, again, Lamar scaled back last year how much he ran because he's getting older and it's just smart for him. But still, he's going to run occasionally, and defenses have to honor him when he does a RPO with Derrick Henry. Either Derrick Henry's coming downhill at you or Lamar's squeaking out the sides. So you're going to be screwed probably one way or the other. And they still have a massive amount of talent on defense, where they're strong up the spine with Justin Matabuke, Roquan Smith at linebacker, and at safety Kyle Hamilton. But here's where I gave them the number 2, and this is the main reason why. Kind of like what Luggs brought up with Brian Callahan with the Bengals. They lost their DC, Mike McDonald, but they also lost Anthony Weaver, who is now the DC with the Dolphins, and they also lost Denard Wilson. So that's like 3 of their top defensive-minded coaches, like a big brain drain. I think they'll fall back a little bit on defense, and I think with the Bengals, this is their last hurrah in this window. That's why I have them coming in second. 11-6, still making the playoffs, though, wild card.
Last hurrah in this window. That
in
is
this
some
window.
Brutal talk right there, man.
There'll be another window for Burrow and Chase, but I think this window is closing. Like, it might be 2 to 3 years before they open that window again.
Wow. Okay. Please welcome back into the lineup Joe Burrow, everybody. Joe Burrow is back and better than ever.
Joe, you gonna play?
Yeah, he's going to play. And this is the birthplace, I remind everybody who listens to this podcast religiously. Founded in 2019, I think August of 2019, so nearly 5 years ago, the Joe Burrow fan club was born and raised right here at Sports and Other Stuff. So Joe is back, and they go by Joe, and I'm going with Joe to finish second in the AFC North. Because here's a couple things. He's got a better running back with Zach Moss. Joe Mixon, you remember, is out. Got an improved offensive line. And I think, why not? Let's give Joe a round of applause and see if he can come back, be better than ever from his, he's had a lot of injuries. You think about it. For a guy who went to the Super Bowl a few years ago. But nonetheless, I think he's the guy. But I don't give him a whole lot of love. I've got him at 11-6, much improved from last year, but not quite first place. But again, this is a really nip and tuck division. 11-6, Bengals, second place, AFC North. That's that. So now for the first place position, Luggs, who do you like in the AFC North? There's only one team left.
Yeah, I got to go with Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar's recently been sick, so he's been missing training camp, but I don't think there's anything to worry about there. They are bringing back pretty much everybody offensively. Defensively, they've lost several. So but they should be okay. What T-Dog mentioned about losing basically the defensive brain trust, that's going to hurt. It just has to. So I guess they're hoping that Lamar and Derrick Henry can just keep moving the chains and keep the defense off the field would be their best bet at this point. Once we get to see at least one preseason game and then one for real game, then we'll know kind of where they are defensively. But I've got the Ravens, again, because of schedule, and they've got to play all those guys in their own house there. I've got them going 11-6.
11-6, Ravens. T-Dog, to you.
Again, even though we maybe have a flip-flop, I think we all agree like two of the best, probably 6 teams in the league are Baltimore and Cincy if Burrow's healthy. Like that's a bigger caveat. I understand. But I think Burrow will be healthy this year. And usually when Burrow is healthy for a full season, we've seen it twice, they win the division. He is the most dialed-in quarterback besides Mahomes in reading defenses, understanding game situation, and taking calculated risk. And if you think about it too, not only have they won the division the 2 years he's been healthy, they've at least made it to the AFC title game in the 2 years that he stayed healthy. Chase and Higgins have the ability to just dictate games with the combination of speed, size, and ruggedness. And I really think, even though they lost Tyler Boyd, who is a solid hand, I think there is a chance that Jermaine Burton, the rookie, he has a decent amount more juice than Tyler Boyd, and he might become like the heir apparent to Higgins, who probably is gone after this season. He's got enough pop and power. I think that he's gonna be a real threat to him, maybe long term, and maybe he reopens up the window. Maybe I misevaluate. The big thing is they talk about Arby's having the meat. The Bengals have the meat. So is because with Orlando Brown, who they got last year, they got free agent Trent Brown, and then their first round draft pick was Amarius Mims. All those guys, fellas, are over 6'8". All of those guys are at least over 330 pounds. All of this worry about him getting hit, he's still probably going to get hit, but I feel like those hits are going to be reduced. Just on size alone, it's going to take guys at least 3 seconds to get around him. So that should help keep him healthy. And the one thing I worry about with the Bengals isn't their front seven on defense, because even though they maybe don't have but Trey Hendrickson is close to a superstar, that maybe they don't have like a marquee name like a Myles Garrett or TJ Watt type of player on their lines, or like a Matabuke. But like their linebackers are really underrated, and Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt, they've been consistently good throughout their whole career. But their secondary is what I worry about. Cam Taylor-Britt was really turning on last year before he got injured. But DJ Turner really needs to grow up quick. And also Dax Hill. But other than that, I believe in our boy Lou to get him working out right. And I have them going 12-5 and winning the division.
Woohoo! 12-5, winning the division. Okay, Lugs, T-Dog, can you name the voice actor who says, "We have the meats" for Arby's?
Bing Rames.
There you go, since 2014. Crack Intern Department came up with that. Congrats, T-Dog. He wins the prize for this episode. So here's how it's going to go for me. I have the Ravens because it's going to go like this. Lamar Jackson, meet Derrick Henry. Mr. Henry, meet Mr. Jackson. Okay, just the fact that that guy is in the backfield, even if he doesn't touch the ball, it's like, is he going to get the ball? Not get the ball. What do we do? Who do we watch? Who do we target? Who do we highlight? Who do we spot? So I think 50% of the plays this year will include one of those two names for the Ravens. That's just a thought. But, like you mentioned earlier, somebody did Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews, two of the best tight ends, and they're both on the same team. And Likely's got the best name in football because he's likely to win. But, yeah, I think it's a good team. I think Lamar, reigning MVP, he's got a lot of gas in the tank. He's going to win this lawsuit with Troy Aikman. We'll talk about that in a minute. about the number 8, which is the craziest damn thing ever. But I've got them going, let's see, 12-5, which is a little bit that's one down from last year, but only because I think this division is a monster. And I think between Burrow, Bengals, Browns, Steelers, Russell, Justin Fields, Deshaun Watson, all this stuff going on. Ravens 12-5, first place for the NFC North. So that's that. What do you guys think? How do you feel about that? Life in general.
It's a good division and some good old smash mouth football.
And even though I haven't finished second, I have to agree with both of you all having Ravens number 1. I think most people feel from top to bottom in terms of overall talent personnel, it's the 49ers and the Ravens have the most talent personnel. And also in the backfield, who we didn't even talk about, I know he's still recovering from his injury. I don't know if you all remember Keaton Mitchell. He only had 47 rushing attempts last year, but he averaged 8.4 yards per carry. Everyone knows about Devon Achane. But Keaton Mitchell had a moment before he got injured. Keaton Mitchell was like, oh, my God, who's this guy? So they still have him, like that third guy. Their change-up from Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, he's pretty much gone if he gets out in the open. So, yeah, they're a scary team.
All right. Lugs, do you use toothpicks, man?
No, I actually don't. Sorry.
I got a little chicken stuck in a tooth right here, and so I'm just kind of found one. I haven't used one in years, but, it's something weird about putting a piece of wood between your teeth like a caveman or something. Something strange about that. Speaking of strange, let's do a little sports of yesteryear, shall we? Can you take it away, Lugs? You can go anytime.
All right. 1925, New York Yankee Lou Gehrig hits the first of his career 23 grand slams. 1976, then Baltimore Oriole, destined to be a New York Yankee. Reggie Jackson homers in his 6th straight game. 1989, 76 Tour de France, won by Greg LeMond of the USA. 1995, British Open men's golf, St. Andrews. The American Wild Man, John Daly, wins his 2nd major title by 4 strokes in a 4-hole playoff with Constantino Rocca of Italy. And finally, staying with the British Open, in 2000, Tiger Woods beats Thomas Bjorn and Ernie Els by 8 shots to win his first Open title, in the process of becoming the youngest player at 24 to win all 4 major titles. We forget how good that man was. That's it for this edition of Sports of Yesteryear.
Thank you, Lugs. John Daly, wild man. Have you seen him lately? Would you say he's kind of let himself go? I think that's a phrase you like to use, Lugs.
Well, he never.
What
he
happened?
Never stopped him. He never stopped himself for going. He's married to a stripper.
No, didn't know that. Thanks.
Oh yeah. No, he married a stripper at one of the Elvis chapels in Vegas. I'm not kidding about this.
One of the Elvis chapels. There's more than one?
Oh, there's like 3 or 4 of them now. It's America. It's a copycat country, baby.
Oh, all right. Well, speaking of copycats, that leads up. What a segue. This from ESPN about the number 8 copycat. Reigning NFL MVP Lamar Jackson is challenging Hall of Famer Troy Aikman's use of their shared number 8, their uniform numbers, in a U.S. Patent and Trademark Office complaint, according to federal records. Jackson, who owns or has applied for several trademarks using the number in various phrases, says Aikman's attempt to use 8 on apparel and bags would, quote, likely cause confusion or deceive the purchasing public as to whether they're buying products from Jackson or Aikman's company, according to Jackson's attorney. So, fellas, I did not know you could copyright or trademark a number. Anybody? Bueller?
Well, what's really strange is that Aikman has a beer called 8, and it's spelled out. It's not the number; it's spelled out. But Aikman loves litigation. He and Terry Bradshaw own ranches next to each other. Apparently, some of Terry's cows got out on his property. He sued Terry Bradshaw. So Aikman loves that. He's got lawyers on retainer all over the country. But I mean, I go back to, there were some other good eights in this country, even in the NFL.
Yeah.
Steve Young. I mean, he could copyright 8. Just call it a young 8. It just seems silly to me. I mean, it's just giving lawyers more money. That's all it is.
A couple of rich guys fighting over stupid stuff.
Yeah, that's about it for me. What do you think, dog?
Yeah, I'm just like looking at some of the stuff on it, and I guess Jackson already registered U8 yet for his restaurant services, and I want to know what his restaurant serves. Like, I know this is more about looking into the lawsuit. I want to know what type of food Lamar is trying to send out there.
That's
I do not know.
I bet he'll catch us off guard. Maybe he's just he's really into Korean barbecue. Like,
okay, I was going to say, I guarantee it's not sushi.
We never know. Maybe it is. That's why I'm kind of fascinated with it.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah. I mean, you hear about rookies coming to camp and wanting a certain number, and they can't get it because some guy or other players will buy numbers from guys in the equipment room and stuff, and it's just a number, right? I know superstition runs thick and deep in sports, but it just seems wild.
Yeah. But on a happier note, we had discussed cereals recently when we were kids.
Yeah.
Well, Jason and Travis Kelce have their own cereal coming out. It's called the Kelce Mix. Now, listen to this. If this is not a sugar killer, it's a combination Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Lucky Charms, which was my favorite as a kid, and Reese's Puffs. It's all mixed into one bowl or one package. So the fellas, I got to say, they're cashing in wherever they can.
Man, I'd have to make a quick run, if you know what I'm saying, to the room down the hall after.
Clear the trail.
Watch out.
Here we go. Okay, so you say Aikman likes a lot of litigation?
He's been known to litigate for sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you think he would charge his broadcast partner Joe Buck, sue him for a buck?
For impersonating a play-by-play guy? I don't know.
Oh,
dang!
It's nasty in the preseason when we've got nothing else to talk about.
Yeah, and it's hot outside and people are sweating. Yeah. All right. Anything else? We got about 2 minutes left in the clock here. Nothing.
Nothing for me.
I am good I'm good and golden.
All right. This has been Sports and Other Stuff. Brought to you in part by Henry Lawrence Clothiers, where the models buy their clothes. You can stop in there anytime, especially this summer for the big summer sale. And as for our guy, his name is
Fish. And this week, a dapper Fish is sporting a shark-skin suit and skinny tie in honor of the Rat Pack's chairman of the board, Frank Sinatra. In 1966, Old Blue Eyes' album, Strangers in the Night, hits #1 on the U.S. charts. To mark the occasion, Fish, with his sidekick, guitarist and raconteur Roger Taylor, will bring us all things Frank, including Frank's music and movies. Come on down this Saturday at 1 p.m. Admission is $20. According to Fish, it's an offer you can't refuse.
All right, well, good luck to Roger, our old friend, and Fish together. And join us again together next time on Sports and Other Stuff. So long for now. Bye-bye.